Welcome back to another episode of the Jackrabbit Illustrated Podcast. We're excited to have you join us today. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank our sponsors who help make this all possible. First off, a great big thank you to our title sponsor again for 2024, the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Whether it's tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, or farm equipment, Kubota's got you covered. With 9 convenient locations across the state of South Dakota and 1 in northwest Iowa, there's always a Kubota dealer nearby. Stop by your local Kubota dealer and see all they have to offer. All A-Team shows are sponsored this year by Culver's of Brookings and Watertown, home of the Butterburger, fried cheese curds, signature root beer, and world-famous custard. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. Next, we would like to recognize the support of our other A-Team podcast sponsors. Cubby Sports Bar and Grill, the best sports bar in South Dakota and home to the Jimmy Rogers Radio Show. Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management. See them for all your retirement and life insurance needs. And the Jackrabbit Former Players Association. And now, here is the A-Team.
And we are back for another Victory Sunday. It feels good. It's kind of what we expected, right? We expected to come away with a win. We expected to be having a Victory Sunday here. So here we are. Everything went as planned. Chad, how the heck you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Got a little work done in the shop this afternoon, and can't complain. We got back early. We left the game a little early because we could, and that allowed us to do some things here last night that we wouldn't have been able to otherwise, and enjoy a little bit of downtime on a home game, which doesn't always happen. So the wife was pleasantly surprised that I wanted to leave early. and it was nice. It's just nice when you can take your time getting back and those kind of things. Appreciated the extra hour of sleep last night too, so that's pretty awesome.
Hey, good stuff.
How about you, man? Also,
yeah, I'm good. We had a busy weekend. As most of you know, took the kids to the game yesterday, and my 4-year-old, who is just an absolute wild card, she did great. Had a lot of fun with her, and we got back pretty late because we stopped somewhere halfway back home and got pizza. Went to a pizza joint. So that was fun. It was good. And we also have a special guest today, Taylor Murray. Did I freeze? Chad, I don't know. My internet's
good. We can still hear you and see you, Matt.
All right. Sounds good. So Taylor, you talk. How are you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Were you at the game?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you guys having me on, and especially Chad with such short notice. But looking forward to talking about everything.
Okay. And Taylor has a unique perspective because he played for SDSU and then his final season at UND.
Yeah.
Also a former teammate of Dallas, who will be joining us shortly. Dallas is again late, so we joked that Dallas got done with his busy season of Halloween and now jumps straight into his busy season of hockey, which will go until May. So Dallas gets very little time to do Dallas things. So,
dude, hockey parents are some of the busiest, man, especially if they do the traveling teams. It's crazy. It's live, breathe, eat, sleep hockey, and that's it.
Yep. And Jake is on dad duty tonight and will not be joining us. So figured it was just that's just the week it is. So, but first, before we get into too much football talk here, I have to thank our title sponsor, Kubota Dealers of South Dakota, for all they do. I actually stopped in Brookings at the Kubota dealership on Saturday before heading to tailgating. Had to pick up all my stuff to service my BX 2680 for winter, and also some minor repairs for things that I've broken over the last year. So got that stuff picked up, and that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I took the day off from work, going to put up my snow fence, going to get my tractor ready for winter, going to put my mower deck away, and all that good stuff. So if I can do any of this stuff, any of you that are listening to this can also do any of this stuff, because I am not mechanically skilled like Chad. So
are you planning, do you stand your mower deck up like against the wall on something? Because it's big. So
No, I'll probably like flip it over and scrape it out though, and just like get it looking good.
I just didn't know if you had enough floor space to just.
Well, we got lots of
leave it.
space. Yeah,
It's fairly light. You know, if you tip it up against the wall, then it's mostly out of the way. So.
I don't need to do that. We got tons of space. I have more space than I know what to do with in my barn. So
that's brag right there.
I know, humble brag. Yeah. I also got to thank the Culvers of Brookings and Watertown for their support, our show sponsor. Did not get a chance to stop yesterday, unfortunately, just with how it was going. But man alive, I wish I could have, because that butter burger, those cheese curds, those French fries, and that mint Oreo cement mixer, right? Or is it concrete mixer? I get it wrong.
Concrete
mixer,
I think,
all
isn't
the
it?
time.
Maybe I don't know either.
I don't know, but they're delicious. Whatever you want to call them, the frozen custard. And Taylor, you're a first-time guest, so we got to ask, what is your Culver's go-to order?
Oh man, for a time trying to lose weight, it was the what was it? That cranberry whatever salad.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Chicken salad. It was actually really good. For trying to eat healthy. But no, I'll go with that. What is it? The Curder burger or whatever it is on special every year. Oh, I can't resist that.
Fat kid's delight, the Curder.
There we go.
I mean, we all have to appease our inner fat kid every once in a while. I just don't ever not.
Yeah. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason I lose weight, is just to have fun to gain it back.
There we go. And Jim Poppin, we know it was there Friday. He tagged us. Thank you, Jim, for tagging us when you stopped there. We do appreciate that. Do the same, folks. Love to see what you're getting. And love to know that you're supporting our sponsors. We really do appreciate it. So thank you, Kubota Dealers of South Dakota, and thank you of Culver's and Brookings and Watertown. So, all right, let's get into this game, huh?
Yeah, let's talk about the game.
So,
did you get a chance to watch it?
I had my son's 9th birthday party, so we were getting ready for that as I was watching it out of my pocket. Trying to, as best I could, to keep up with it. But from what I saw, it looked very impressive for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, it was a fun game, although it really, to me, started out and felt, even though we pretty much dominated the first half, like extremely, it felt flat. And Jimmy said on the PA, on Tyler's show, whatever they're broadcasting over the speakers underneath, he had said something like, we got to play less flat than this crowd is. And I think that was fair, because the crowd was into it at times. Definitely. We had that one false start. It didn't end up being a false start because they called the timeout, but the crowd was there and loud, just a little less engaged overall, I think, than.
Yeah.
And I guess, what can you say on a game like this where we knew that's what it was going to be? It's tough to get up for, but the stuff surrounding military appreciation and Danger 41, or Matt Anderson, I'm sorry, I should call him. I just old school call out to what he always used on the old forum. But that was cool. The F-35s. Scott, he'll know which one I'm talking about. Scott came over and told me during the tailgate, he says, dude, they're loud. Like, he's like, you have no idea how loud the F-35s are. They're like twice as loud as an F-16. He says they're louder than an F-15. And we got 2 of them. He says it's gonna be loud. And it legitimately hurt my ears. Like, I've been at a couple flyovers right down in Frisco. Goodness sakes, that was loud. And they weren't like extraordinarily close, it was really weird, because watching the video that somebody posted, it seemed like they were to the home side of the field, but where I was standing, they seemed like they were closer to me. So they must have been right down the middle, and it was a matter of perspective. Oh, Tracy, right. What a comment. Flyover.
That's comment of the
much
year.
Greater than life's off at the mall with white light up towels, which, if you ask me, it looks like the El Rayed Shrine Circus, but whatever. Yeah. I mean, it was cool in its own way, but not the same. Yeah. Scott Rust, obviously the Scott I was talking about. So
were they louder than Frisco?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Amazingly louder. It's like it legitimately hurt my left ear. Like
because Frisco, you could feel it in your chest when they fly over. Like it was amazing. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yep. And I thought it's just so impressive to me every time we do these flyovers. You don't really hear them coming, but as soon as they get about over top of you, it is just so much noise. I grabbed my ear too, Chad. I never plug my ears for anything, and I did on that too. I was like, "Woo, that's loud." So
it was stupid loud in a cool way. You know, I'm not.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm not real big on him having my hearing hurt, but goodness sakes, that was so cool. Like it gave me goosebumps. Like couldn't have been the only. I think Scott said they were doing something like 235 or something. They were going to be doing coming by. The only thing is that, like you said, you don't hear them. They came by so fast. It seemed twice as fast as an F-16 flyby. By the time you saw them, they were already like, I just turned and they were, that was it. They were gone. Like you could see them diverge over the backyard or probably over White, wherever they were at that point. But
you know, one of the best podcasts that you guys have done were interview those pilots before Frisco, and that was so interesting to hear about just everything that goes into that and all the timing, and it's a pretty cool thing.
I tried this week to go back and find that, and for the life of me I could not. So
seriously,
I don't know where that one ended up. I was going to repost it as somebody was talking about the F-35 flyover, and I was gonna post, hey, this is a really cool interview. And yes, it was very cool. We actually, I believe Kyle had Matt Anderson on and talked.
There was a former player feature with Matt Anderson.
Matt Anderson a few years ago. So that was
kind of cool. That up.
Yeah, I reposted it when we got noticed that he had passed. But we can definitely share it again, and we'll make sure we tag Kyle in it and stuff too, because Kyle did a great job with that interview. And I mean, I only knew Matt a little bit, but man, I got emotional seeing, his family out there, his young daughters out there and stuff during the coin flip. That was really an emotional moment, man alive. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to feel that. So, but it was. So
yeah, I saw all the post game videos and everything that went into that, and I did get a chance to text Ryan McKnight and just thank him for everything that he's done, and just putting all this JFPA stuff together and doing everything that they do. And hard to imagine there was a dry eye in the house during that coin flip. That was something special for sure.
And Chad, do you want to dig up that link for the store? We can talk about that.
Yeah, I'll do that real quick.
Sounds good. So a lot of attention has been given to the hoodies that the coaches were wearing. And that was actually something that they had a store earlier in the season to try to raise money for the family through that store. And this is a JFPA thing. It is opened back up. The store has until I believe November 10th or 11th. And you can order the hoodies, the t-shirts, whatever you want with that logo. That is just incredibly cool. It is a fighter pilot helmet that the pilots down in Frisco gave to the JFPA last year. And then on the visor is Matt Anderson raising the Dakota marker with his teammates in that, I believe, is that 07, 08, whatever game it was in Brookings when they had the incredible play, 07. So and the stuff is really affordable. I was really surprised when I looked at this. So I plan to order a couple things. Cool. It's really cool. So
there's also a Branded Bills because the guys from Branded Bills, at least one of the guys that started that company is from Brookings or went to SDSU. And so there's a tie there, and I think they leveraged that a little bit to get. So there's a really cool Branded Bills hat. I'll pull up that link too. Hey, Jealous. Dallas, that came out weird.
Jealous.
That's a big mix of
whatever. Words are hard, okay?
Dallas, we've just been talking about the pregame stuff so far, the flyover, and then just now talking about Matt Anderson's store for the hoodies and stuff that the coaches were wearing that just got a lot of really positive feedback yesterday, and they looked really slick.
They really did. Those things are great.
I wonder if I can pull this up maybe quick.
So, yeah. See if you can.
People can see this. Let's see.
And Chad, too, once we get it pulled up, let's make sure we check the date too, so we make sure everyone gets it right.
Okay.
To the 10th or the 11th.
Folks can see that well or not.
But Dallas, you were watching while Chad. Oh no, Chad's got it. Perfect. So yeah, we talked about it a little bit. It's that fighter pilot helmet again. For those of you that are listening, that the pilots gave to the GFPA last year down in Frisco, and then again the visor is Matt Anderson holding up the rock. So very cool. Under Armour product too. So yep. We'll try to put that. We'll continue to link it this week. It's up on our Facebook and Twitter now. Again, if you're listening, you can go back. Yep, linked in the comments. Excellent. Thank you, Chad. So, yeah, Dallas. We just kind of talked about, in general, just the pregame stuff. One thing that I noticed in the pregame, Chad, maybe you felt differently, but there definitely was not as many people tailgating.
Oh no, there was lots less.
Yeah, lots.
I mean,
less.
it is kind of an extreme contrast though when you go from one of the most like attended games that we're going to have all year to Murray State. So,
but I was shocked once we got into the stadium and how full it ended up getting when players ran out. I wrote this in Rants and Raves, and if it had been a normal student crowd, we would have been at 18,500. We would have been, it would have been a great number for Murray State. And it still is a fine number, over 16,000 for an awful opponent.
Yeah, no kidding. We would have been begging for that crowd for a very long time.
Right.
On the student section, I was going to ask: was there a 3-day weekend or anything, or just seriously?
It's Veterans Day on Monday, so
gotcha.
Yep. So they're out. They were out.
Well, in that case, and I know everybody's setting their sights higher, and we have kind of big expectations for the crowd and the students and the team and everything in general. But for a long weekend, that was a pretty good student section, honestly.
Right.
For a lesser, I mean, again, I don't want to sit and rag on the opponent, but obviously you go from, like you said, a big rivalry game, secondary rival, of course, but.
There's Ryan McKnight, president of JFPA right there. Huge shout out to Bailey Wright for the design. That is the football team's creative content genius. Bailey does a terrific job. And then all proceeds go to Matt's fam. Ryan's reiterating that. And then he loves us. So we love you too, Ryan McKnight.
Aw.
Yeah.
Back at you, kid.
So, Chad, back to your point. We're circling all the way back here. Jimmy's comment about the crowd energy. Oh, those are cool too. Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw those up. And you can get 20% off if you're a new customer. So there's a deal for you.
I wish my head was small enough to fit that.
I've got a buddy with a head like that. You might want to reach out to him. I bet they got something for you.
So for the large number of people that listen instead of watch, Chad pulled up a cap,
thanks,
a white. Yes, no problem.
Pulled up the white hat. Yes.
So I have to just reach out and say, I'll take the Chad size, or
yeah. Right?
No, I don't have a large head, but I have a buddy. I have a buddy who does, and he has a branded Bills, and it fit well. Okay, so you might be worth looking into.
Yeah, they make hats for 5 heads as well. So yep.
not just 4 heads.
Yeah, 5 heads. Yep.
That's a dad joke if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, there we go. I have one. So yeah. Anyways, here we are. So Chad, you mentioned Jimmy commenting on the energy in the stadium. My rebuttal to that is don't allow a 3rd and 18 conversion on the first drive when your crowd is hyped.
I can't disagree less.
You can't disagree.
Yeah,
there we go.
I also wondered where that was going. Makes sense.
I'm just keeping you on your toes tonight, guys. Somebody's got to be funny over here.
Does he like it? Does he not like it?
We're going up against the Heat team and the mayor of Vermilion, so
that's true.
They ended the game 4 for 16. Murray State did, converting on 3rd downs. But again, that first one, converting on 18-yard one, it really did take the air out of the crowd. Like we were going nuts around me, like if people were, and it just so. Seth.
This game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. This game had some of the feelings of Pine Bluff, and when one of them to me was that James London. Good Lord Almighty, that guy has a leg, and
their kicker
will probably be playing on Sundays. He'll at least get an opportunity because dang, he booted that first one through even better than the second one. They timeout, they ice their own kicker somehow. I don't know what that's all about, but I was like, okay.
And I told you, I said he was going to be the most entertaining part of their team besides the connection with Jaden Johansson. So
their punter wasn't bad. They had some really neat play designs. I mean, we've commented we really like their coach, and I think he's going to go places. He just got to get a little time there and get some more players in and not have so many transfers out. That's going to be the tough part for him, I think.
Yeah, anytime you get in one of those areas, it's a relatively dense Division I area. I just got to imagine it's so much easier for guys to see know people that are in other close by nearby programs, and transfer out. Matt, you and I both made comments over the last week that I think Murray State's going to be an interesting case study over the next 5 to 10 years if they can keep some people around. The coach really had it was coach speak a bit, but had some good things to say just about, hey, listen, this is what we signed up for. We can see what we need to do, and just broke it down. Was kind of just very straightforward with what he thought they needed to accomplish. And then the other interesting point was, man, how in 4 weeks did they go USD, somebody else, NDSU, us? Is that what their schedule was?
Yeah.
That is the worst meat grinder of anybody in the country. That's awful.
Yeah, their strength of schedule, if you just hold it to FCS, I think they'd have a pretty high one. So.
And what did McFeely tweet, I believe, before on Saturday morning, that their coach said at some point that they had 40 guys on their injury list this week?
I saw that and I felt bad.
Yeah. Same.
Like, I don't know. I don't want to like poo-poo or anything like that, but man alive, like that isn't like, that really stinks. That's hard to put a good quality product on the field when you're already banged up. And they had a lot of guys drop out of the game too.
So. Well, Johansson looked really good, honestly. I thought he did very well with his legs when the pocket would disappear in front of him, and the way they pushed, they kind of opened that up quite a few times, almost like a draw. That worked well for him. And that Justice Hill, that number 1 dude, that dude's pretty talented. He's really shifty. He was kind of hard to bring down, and I was impressed with his game.
Agreed.
He's the basketball player, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even go out for football until like halfway through fall camp or something.
I knew they had one, but I didn't know he was the guy. So
yeah,
but they had some good skill players out in space. Their coach called out. They need to get bigger and stronger in a hurry. But I thought we did a pretty decent job on the perimeter defending those guys, because it's easy to lose track when it's a team that you're quote unquote supposed to beat handily. You're at home, but within individual matchups, you got to remember they still got guys that can play. I mean, they're still on scholarship. They have good football players, and I thought we neutralized that fairly well, because they have been moving the ball this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they moved the ball well. Brendan said it over and over again. They moved the ball really well on NDSU. They moved the ball. They just didn't convert. They didn't get the touchdowns, but they moved the ball quite a bit on NDSU. He was pointing out the whole game, and so yep. They've been able to move the ball all year, it sounds like.
It's just some self-inflicted penalties, right? Like what killed their first drive. Yeah, the penalties
really killed them.
They had a bad hold on that wide receiver screen on the outside, and they put themselves in a bad spot. So
I think I heard on the Tyler's game on post game on the way home, they had something like 127 yards in penalties.
That sounds right.
A ton.
It is. Taylor, you mentioned feeling bad for him. I went in and out of that towards the end when they were just clearly melting down with some terrible penalties, just bad decisions there. And even the TV crew even called it out. I forget if it was number 9. I don't know. A big D lineman had a hold of somebody's face mask and wouldn't let him up. Was it Gus? And Gus was doing what good Missouri Valley, just that lineman mentality, that Mason McCormick mentality that we talk about. I mean, he was just laying on him. He was being a complete dick, but that's what you do, right?
Yeah, that was a different play probably, because 90 got called for a face mask on Gus in the first half. But
yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about towards the end.
Yeah, in the third quarter, there was 1-2 that this is when I was on the sideline. I think 4 grabbed Berenson's face
4?
mask. I think.
Oh yeah, I think it was a single digit.
Yeah. So that one was kind of oof.
And then he went off, and he was trying to explain to anyone on the sideline that would listen what happened. And no, man, you got beat, you got pancaked, and then you got mad. Like that is what happened.
Yep.
As an old lineman, that was probably one of the sweetest feelings. Is when you got them so frustrated that they're, probably like that.
Yep.
So.
Speaking of that, though, and Austin Vanderwall points out that McCormick and Davis were in the house. I love the shades of McCormick's celebration when Gus, that guy, totally jumped, hit him, knocked him on his can, and Gus is just shooting guns from his butt on the. That was perfect.
That
Gus
was good.
Is great. We love Gus.
Yeah.
Freeman was there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So some good things I want to point out instead of just talking about Murray State the whole time. I want to talk about all of the young players that got a chance to really shine in this one. And I started by talking about the tight ends. We've been calling all season to get them involved. They're a huge part of our offense, right? And all year since Zach Hines left after the national championship, we've been hearing about these young guys that are ready to emerge. They're ready. It's a more talented room. And then there's been games this year where the tight end room hasn't even had a target. And yesterday it felt like there was definitely an emphasis to get them the ball. And Davin Stoffel responded. David Alpers responded. Brody Gormley had a nice catch and run. I really hope this is something that's building as we get into the playoffs here, because, man alive, these young 3 are just so talented. Like, we got to get them the ball somehow. And they're improving in blocking, too. They are getting better. They still get beat at times, but they are getting better. Anyone else have any young guys that stood out to them? Any of the young players?
Yeah, I mean, Stoffel and Lofton, Grotsky. I mean, it's clear now to me, and maybe I was a little bit jumping the gun with a certain play last week, but it's clear now to me that he's the guy that blocks the best out of all of our wide receivers. That dude's pretty physical, and I think that's why we're seeing him on some of those screens and stuff, which maybe didn't necessarily make sense, him being so young, but he's really physical in his position, and we need more of that from our wide receivers, because that's what made our offense run so well with the Yankees. Like, I mean, those guys blocked like tight ends.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to say it. They were excellent blockers, both downfield and at the line. So shout out to Lofton for being so physical. Keep it up, young man. They burned his red shirt, obviously. We talked about that in the post game too. And dude's quality. He had a really nice catch on the home side where he got the toe tap essentially in that 2-minute drill, which was a really, really nice play that he had there too. So kid's got talent, and he's only going to get better.
And I just checked now because it feels like he's made a lot of plays, this season, like big plays. He only has 8 receptions. And, what was it? 5 of them came in this game?
Yeah, 5 receptions, 50 yards, 1 tud. And his long was 13, which I think was that toe touch on the sideline where he fell out of bounds.
I want to go back and look at his receptions and see how many of them actually went for first downs, because it feels like all of his catches have gone for first downs or a touchdown up to this point. So pretty good. He looks the part, and credit to Tanner Castora for kind of pointing him out. in fall camp as a freshman that was standing out, because he wasn't on my radar at all.
No,
I mean, I've said this before. He's a walk-on, and he's doing this. So
when Chad talked about his blocking downfield, which jumped out to me as well. But he came from a really run-heavy high school in Coon Rapids? Isn't that correct?
That's the story I was told.
That was my understanding. I can pretend I know much about Coon Rapids, but yeah, hats off to the coaching staff for finding him, and hats off to you, Lofton, for making the most of your opportunity. Yeah. You mentioned the 2-minute 2-minute drill. That was something that I wanted to call out as a rave, is getting the ability. That's the second time this year that we've had the ability to execute on 2-minute drill at the end of the first half when it, quote unquote, didn't matter. It wasn't, the game was already well in hand, and to get your ones, the ability to do that, and to test out some things. I got to imagine any coach is just thrilled to be able to do that, and it ended in points. So, obviously you want to get in the end zone, but it's good to see. And it makes me wonder too, there's got to be things where if position coaches have a feeling that young guys are going to play, and let's just call a spade, you got to assume coming into this game that they knew they're going to get some young guys in, whether it's a Woods or whomever. There's probably some situational things that they want to get these guys experience in. And when you've got an entire second half to play, you can see him do that. Obviously Chase Mason, he's on the field quite a bit, but still giving him command of the offense, giving him maybe a little bit different play set than he's going to get when he's in normally in a game. There's huge benefit to that. So that was cool.
Agreed. One negative, and this has been in the comments here, another negative just to touch on, our special teams has to get back to how they were playing 3-4 weeks ago. Not good enough right now. The fair catches inside the 5 or 10, whatever it was, that's tough. The missed field goal, that was a 22-yard field goal. Got to make that. The communication by Angel and Amar on that kick return, that has to be cleaned up, because that ball bounced on the ground can be ugly. Angel handled it well and got 14 yards out of it, but it definitely wasn't clear. They did not communicate who was going to take it. So it just has to be better on special teams, point blank, because that can lose you games in the playoffs. So,
To Jordan Till's comment here, I think we knew before going in this game, did we not, that Christensen wasn't going to be playing?
The question is,
sorry,
right. Wasn't able to watch. What's that?
He dropped out of the game.
He was playing. Okay,
he did. He started the game. Yep.
So the question is, if anybody noticed after the first quarter, Hicks was playing left tackle for the rest of the time with the starters. Did Christensen get hurt?
So the answer must be apparently.
Yeah.
Or they pulled him.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was like, if he's injured or just banged up or what, but I mean, I have seen him moving a little bit differently. So, yeah. Like I'm sure he'll be fine. He's a warrior. It just, it was probably good to get him out of there and get him some rest too. Save some wear and tear.
Yeah, O-linemen, they are grinded out every single play. So
yeah, that's cool to get some younger. Matt, did you call it? Was it 2 freshmen O-linemen got in?
Yeah, they're in the comments here. Pat Whitty, right here.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, Nick Bakken and Shane Willenbring on the offensive line, both from Wisconsin. They were having fun moving the D-line into the secondary. These are 2 guys that I fully expect to compete for starting spots next year. Big kids. Of course,
they're from Wisconsin.
Yeah, right, right. So, going to be good young players for us.
I mean, that's cool at that age to get any sort of reps at all. I mean, that's great. Taylor, you can back this up. I mean, more often than not, an O-lineman, your frame's not ready till you're a junior normally. That's just, I mean, that is a grown-ass man position. And to get the strength and the, I don't know, just for your body to be ready to compete, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I don't know what they're putting in the water with these young kids nowadays, but they seem to be getting into college and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Kenyon did get in a little bit. Kenyon Big Bow.
Nice.
Ryan Effling pointed that out. I also wanted to touch on. Now I lost it. Never mind. I guess
that's okay. What?
Oh, Shane. Yeah. This is great radio, right? I think that Nick Bakken is the one that won the Culver's eating contest. That's what I was going to point out. High quality.
That is
so good.
Yeah. As we all know, it moves you up the depth chart, right?
Well,
Gosh.
I mean, because
that is awesome.
Wasn't it the Colonel that won it one year?
I think you know what I think he did. Wow,
killing it up in Canada right now, and his team's going to be playing for the Grey Cups. Seth David Fisher
really?
has a quality comment for you, Matt. I know there's an answer here. Seth asks, "We need to hit the most interesting topic. Why no chicken soup?"
Okay.
And for those of you that didn't know, both Matt and his wife got to do the Dakota Layers egg toss with two of their children. So no matter what, Matt was going to win. Oh, 3. Sorry. Yeah. 2 on one parent, 1 with the other. You're in zone defense. Did you see me be an
athlete and make that catch, that double? Yeah. Okay. So what happened here was I got into my suit, which I am as tall as you can be for that suit. So 6'2.5". If you're 6'3", you can't get in the chicken suit. And it was tight. And anyways, I got all zipped up, ready to go. I was pumped. And then all of a sudden they start freaking out about Kelsey's suit. And it is because the battery pack, they thought the batteries were dead. So they're taking the screwdriver, getting the screw out. And then after that first time out, they did the Culver's challenge about Tucker Large's, right? Or was it Amar's favorite lunch? Whoever it was yesterday.
I think Amar's.
Yeah, Mars. Or no, where would Tucker travel?
I don't know. Tucker's travel. You're right.
Yeah, where would Tucker travel? Yeah. Anyways,
anyways, gonna need to post that picture.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta go. You gotta get out of the suit. So all of a sudden they have us like ripping off the suit, and like it's not easy to take off without damaging it. So I'm doing the best I can, and my kids thought it was funny. About fell over. And so anyway, they're like, hurry up, because we got to get to the side of the field so you're ready to go for the next time out. And that's why there was no chicken suit, because my wife, she broke hers. So that's her fault. I would have rather been in the chicken suit and hiding from everyone, to be honest. So, but Jim Poppin got a picture of me in it, and it was fun. So thank you, Dakota Layers, for the eggs for a year. That was kind of cool. So, yeah. $5 a week at the store. Yep.
Hell yeah. The way it's been, that's about right.
Yeah, it's actually every other week. So I get a dozen every other week, and I have to drive to Millbank to get them because that's the closest Dakota Layers store. So that's all right.
Still cool.
So anyways, thanks. And thanks to everyone. I said I looked like an athlete. Yep. There we go. Anyways, one more good thing from me. The $10 tickets, folks. I know sometimes season ticket holders get angry about that. But the $10 tickets made such a difference, for a lot of families I heard from. Like for me, I brought my 4-year-old to this game because of the $10 ticket, because you never know how much you're actually going to get to see. I would at this point of her life, I wouldn't spend $50 for a ticket for her to go to a game. But man alive, I had so many friends from high school, from college, that brought their kids and their kids' friends to their first game. Family of 5, mine, for example, we all could have gone for $50 versus $50 for one seat at a normal game. So if you want to expand your fan base, this is the way to do it. For these kind of games, offer those $10 tickets and get the butts in the seats. So very cool. Thank you, SDSU Athletics, and thanks to the season ticket holders that couldn't be there, that gave their tickets away for free. That was really cool. I heard that from a bunch of people too, that you just got free tickets. Good job. Way to make a difference. Way to fill the stands. So yeah.
And that also helps us come playoff times, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they can offer that deal too, a deal on tickets come playoffs. So
yep.
Say, as somebody who was not at the game, one other comment, a positive that I wanted to call out, the television crew. I am blanking on the commentator's name.
Jay Ellison?
Is that the color guy? No, it's a play-by-play guy. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's play-by-play. It was Curtis Riggs yesterday.
Curtis Riggs, yeah.
Okay, I was so impressed. I didn't get a chance to go back and rewatch today, but there was like 3 times that he was so quick at calling things out that typically when you listen to a national broadcast, there's a delay because they have like 2 spotters in their ear watching a replay to tell them something. He was on. I wish I could. Oh, one of them was Chase Mason threw a pass in the red zone. It looked like it was behind, I think, Devin Cole.
Yeah,
it was. Right. It looked like it was behind to anybody watching. And he immediately said, no, when we run this back, wait, he should have basically delayed because he wound up getting behind the outside receiver's defender. And Chase threw it right in the window that he had. And sure enough, when they showed the different angle, that's exactly what happened. But there was a couple other things like that I was really impressed at just kind of the insight that he was providing and how quick that was. So good broadcast.
Yeah, Riggs is kind of like Romo being a former quarterback and a really high-end quarterback, actually, even though he played a lower level. He teaches quarterbacks, and he's excellent on the mic. In my
opinion. Bravo to him. I was super impressed. So that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. Should we do game balls just so we can move on and talk to Taylor about UND?
Yeah, he's kind of sitting. Sorry, Taylor.
He's so patient.
It's all good.
Feel free to chime in if you ever have anything you want to say.
Absolutely.
We'll have you chime in on game balls too. Well, I guess you didn't get a chance to watch the game.
So game balls are sponsored by Cubby's Sports Barn Grill in downtown Brookings. The number 1 spot for our Jackrabbit Illustrated Bar Network. We all know Cubby's. We've been there. We love it. Taylor, what is your order at Cubby's?
Well, last time I went, I got the Italian nachos because you guys were preaching them so much.
They were good. Hear that, Gus?
What?
They're really good, weren't they?
Oh, awesome. But yeah, it's usually some sort of nachos of some sort that they have. All right.
There. Cool. So I'm guessing this Saturday is going to be a packed house in Cubby's for that, for the watch party. So get there early. Kickoff's at 1, so you can get there nice and early, have an early lunch, stay there, drink a few beers, whatever it is. Get an appetizer while you watch the game. Just have fun cheering on the Jacks with other Jackrabbit fans. So thanks again, Cubbies, for your support. Really appreciate it. All right. And so, guys, Jake's not even here to hear this, but Jake had the score exactly right for his prediction last week, 52-6.
Never happened, right?
In the 8 years of doing this, I may have done it on the blog a time or two, but not on the show. So shout out to Jake when you listen to this. Good job. Good job, new guy. Maybe we'll get you a Kubota side-by-side yet. So, Chad, you nailed the defensive game ball that I gave out to Tucker Large, and he had a very plain Jane stat line. 1 interception, 1 tackle.
Over, dude.
Exactly. His energy showed up. The
interception was great.
Yep. Do you guys have anyone to add for defensive game ball outside of Tucker Large?
I would say that we probably should give a nod to the only man that had a sack, right? Do we only have 1 sack or do we have 2?
He just had 1. Just 1 sack. Yep.
Just 1 sack, and that was Max Balloon. And he played it perfectly because he jumped up like because he thought he was going to release the ball. And then when he realized he didn't, he just attacked that guy.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yep.
I'd call out Franzel. He really seemed to show up on tape or on the broadcast.
Yep.
They were kind of cycling him out a bit, it seemed like, when we were playing some more. It just so happened to be, I think I just caught it more when we were putting him in coverage. It was someone else in there, and he is a notch up, I feel like, than some of those other backers that are behind him. Yeah. He is all over the field. I think we'll see at the end of the year he's an All-American. And in fact, I think part of the reason the box numbers aren't quite as good is because he's everywhere right before Bach gets there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times.
Yep. All right. Offensively, I went with Angel, and you could have given this a lot of different ways. I personally wanted to give it to Stoffel because that's who I picked last week.
That's who I was going to go with.
Yep, but I did go with Angel. So Davin Stoffel had a heck of a game though too. Anyone else?
I would say Amar Johnson for that cutback.
That was
I caught that as we were setting up for my son's birthday party, and I started yelling right there for no reason for everybody else. So I enjoyed that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it's funny because on the Jimmy Rogers show this week, Amar talked about his cutbacks because he's taken some flack the last few weeks for, some cutbacks that just haven't worked out. And this one, did work out. And we've seen this countless times in his career, see that there's an opportunity to bounce it. And there he goes. So
yeah, what did he say on the show? He's just got to feel it.
Yeah. Yep.
How else do you explain a zone run? I mean, it baffles my mind how guys can see that when there's, they have to look back over their shoulder to be able to have any idea where that lane could be. And they usually can't even see it because they're in traffic when they cut back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wanted to call out congratulations to Mr. Maxwell Woods and to we've already talked about Lofton, but also to Mr. Ogroski on their first touchdowns.
Yeah,
first of many for both those dudes.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and to touch on Maxwell Woods here, he looks different already. Like he has added some weight. It was noticeable in my opinion. He looks much bigger than he did in early September when we last saw him. So,
he's going to be unrecognizable next year because he's a standout basketball player in high school. I don't think he was in the weight room much, and in all honesty, I don't think that wasn't where he spent all of his time necessarily. Athletic freak, great instincts, great runner, but when he gets another 10, 15 pounds on him, ooh.
Yeah, and shout out to our friend Mike Schaefer. Mike Schaefer's college football prospects. Maxwell was one of his athletes.
Yep.
And he said that part of the reason right away FBS schools weren't offering him is because he didn't attend their camps and get a timed 40 because he was busy doing other sports. Like they saw the tape, they loved the tape. No time 40. Sorry, man, we can't offer you. No verified 40. There we go. That was the word I think that Mike used. So, glad he's a Jackrabbit. Chad, do you want to talk about Northwestern Mutual for us?
Northwestern Mutual. Well, I'll tell you what, they are also a partner with Alex's Lemonade Stand, and we have been doing big things with Alex's Lemonade Stand. Jim Poppin, our buddy, our listener, has done great things. I think he did the 1/11th challenge and got a bunch of people to do that. I think they raised something like another $88, $77 or something like that there. Plus, he was getting everybody to do the Lemon Top Challenge. Northwestern Mutual's real good for that. They like helping fight against kids' cancer, but they're your one stop for all your financial planning needs here in Sioux Falls. The guys in the Sioux Falls office are very good. Chris Schenkel's an awesome guy. He had Dollars to Donuts. He did again this last tailgate where he brought Flyboy Donuts up and gave them out and had free will donations to Alex's Lemonade Stand, much like we do at our tailgate with the pudding shots. They can help you with all your financial needs and any, if you got you need some help figuring out life insurance for future issues. That's something good to have and get it off your mind because if you don't have that and you need it, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And a lot of times you don't realize you need it. So if you have kids and, something happens to you, you need 10 times your annual income so that someone can play Mrs. Poppins and take care of the kids when mom or dad isn't around. So keep that in mind. Sorry. Stone got me with that. He says, anybody see Chad's lip quiver when he said donuts? Come on, man. I ain't met a donut I don't like.
Stone, how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
we got to have you on sometime, Stone.
Stone's got to come on. He was kind of trash talking me this week about the Alex's Lemonade Stand because his guy was beating Mark. But we see where that ended up, and he knows what I said. And it's maybe a little bit cold for this podcast, so we'll just leave her there.
Well, we have SIU next week, so let's get Stone on next week, Chad.
Let's do it. Stone,
we'll talk some crap with Stone.
Hit me up.
Yeah. All right. So
He'll
Taylor,
be on the B team with us.
Yeah, right. That's B team. There you go. Taylor, you were here to talk about your experience at UND and SDSU. So you have the floor, my man. It's all you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me on. And like I said, Chad, with such short notice, I'm just realizing, the podcast is on this tonight. I should probably reach out to him, and appreciate your response. But my situation was a little unique. I like to say that I was part of the transfer portal before it was cool. But to be clear, with all my fellow SDSU alumni, I did not have a choice. I broke my back. I try to sum this up. It's a long story. I'll sum it up as fast as I can. I broke my back going into my second year at SDSU. So I redshirted my first year. Going into my second year, I took a medical redshirt because I broke my back. That was Division II. Going to my third year, we switched to Division I. And so I played the few years of Division I, but then when it came to NCAA eligibility, I wasn't blessed with all of these free COVID years. They said that you're done with eligibility in Division I for everything that you've been here for, but you have eligibility. Your medical redshirt was taken in Division II at the time, and way back in the day, UND was behind the 8 ball with SDSU going to Division I. So UND was available. And one of the things I'd like to note too is it's really weird finishing your senior year at SDSU and then starting a recruiting trail, talking to like U of M Duluth and Mankato and, all those D2 schools at the time. It was one of the weirdest things that I think I've ever done. But after I took a visit to those schools, hung up the phone on USD right away. UND, I got along with all of those guys really, really good. It was a good group of guys that seemed to be up there, and they were having a pretty successful time in Division II. And I thought, I should try to go for something there, So I went up to UND for that last year, and it was a great experience. The picture behind you there, the Alerus Center, that was a great facility at the time. I think it was open for about 4 or 5 years, by the time I got there. So it was, they filled the stands with 9,000-10,000 people almost every weekend. And, for me at the time at SDSU, I think, my last game at SDSU, it was a cold, windy day, and we were, 5-4, and had probably 1,000 people in the stands or something like that. So to go up there and experience that and to meet all those people and to meet all those coaches, it was a good experience up there, especially Dale Lennon at the time. He was the head coach. I sat down and had a really good conversation with him and how he spent a lot of his graduate assistant time with Stig. And just kind of going over the schemes and that sort of thing. So that was a great experience. But what I would like to say is that, and I wanted to age myself. You can see that old logo or the old mascot that not allowed.
I kind of wanted to put up an earlier Alerus Center field, and I decided against it.
It's probably a good call. Go to the postage stamp logo. But anyway, no, I appreciate you letting me explain all that. But I would like to say that, I was going through that year and every single weekend, just, keeping track of my Jackrabbits and seeing how they're doing. And, I almost cared, I cared just as much as for their success as I was doing, playing there. And it was about 3/4 of the way through the season, and we were practicing, and I was tired, and it was a long drill day or something like that. And one of the couple of guys asked me like, man, you look tired, what if SDSU called you up, would you and said for some reason, you can go back and finish out your last 3 games, would you do it? And without hesitation, I said, of course. It was a legitimate thought in my head that maybe I'll go play in D3 lacrosse so I get a chance to play at Coughlin one more time. And for those that remember, maybe that didn't work out for me. But
the wheels all turned and everybody said, well, oh no.
So sorry to bring up painful time. But no, I mean, just to play on that field again, it would have been an unreal experience. And I can't even begin to describe how much of a special place Brookings is. Not even just the experience itself and the school, the downtown experiences, all that, all the friends that you make. But it's just a special place. I don't know how too soon. That's pretty good. Yes, it is too soon. I'm sorry. I won't ever bring that up again.
We specifically avoid it on the podcast.
Yes, sorry. I'll never be asked back.
I don't know about
that. No, it was just to give you an idea how special SDSU was, and I'll try to finish up, as fast as I can here. I went to that 2007 game against NDSU where we won the marker and we won the Great West Conference Championship. It was the first conference championship they won in 60 whatever years. And like a week before, they did an auction of old jerseys. And I messaged Stig directly and I said, hey, I want my old jerseys, and he said, yeah, absolutely. Just to meet me at the old Hyper Center after the game, and after the game ended, all the just celebration and all of that stuff, I waited in the Hyper Center for probably like 3 hours, whatever. And I finally saw Stig, and it kind of speaks to his character. I said, hey, I'm just picking up those jerseys. I'll get out of your way. I get it. You got like a ton of stuff going on. And he said, no, you're a part of this too. You helped, build the program, and it's just that meant everything to me. So, it's just every time I go back, it's the happiest place on earth, and wouldn't change that experience for anything.
Awesome. Taylor, where are you at now? What do you do?
I'm in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. I've been working in logistics, using my Parks and Rec degree that I got from SDSU. But
I thought you were a business guy. Public recreation with a minor in business, or
minor in business? Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I use my business. Yeah. But no, I got into logistics at early spot in my career, and I've kind of stuck to that. So logistics and warehousing is what I've been doing for the last 15, 20 years now. So,
okay. So Chad, do you know the other athletes that have played for UND and SDSU? Like,
I can think of two off my right now.
Would that be Danny Freund?
Well, Danny Freund he didn't play at SDSU, so I don't know if that counts. But
Dallas, you're thinking hard.
Sam Hagen obviously is the easy one. Plays also on the line, and then we have a wide receiver also.
And then who went the other way from SDSU to UND? Do you remember that one?
We have two UND.
How long ago?
Oh, I do know it, but I can't think of it.
I know it. When you say this, it was 6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yep. Yeah.
All
Preston,
right.
Preston
Alex Wilde.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alex. Yes, Alex. Yep. Right.
So,
who is related in some manner, maybe to Griffin? I think there is some relation there.
So I wonder if there's any more of you, Taylor, or if it's 4 of you that have played for both.
I don't know, but I've had very good texts exchanged with Danny about just when he first took the job and all of that, and couldn't be happier for him.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, great guy. So have you had a chance to watch this year's UND squad at all or paid any attention to what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Bubba. The last 2 weeks, what the hell?
We're just afraid that after those 2 terrible showings, they're going to figure it out and unload on us somehow. Because, they're a different team in that building. Like, that's not just a trope. It's true. They play different in the Alerus Center, period.
Yep.
They're garbage on the road, good at home.
Yeah, but Indiana State.
Yeah.
Well, Indiana State had a chance to win that even when they fumbled on near the goal line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that first half, man alive. Like Indiana State did everything it felt they could to keep UND in that game, it felt like. So
yeah, I don't know. UND has seemed like 2 different teams this year.
Yeah.
The first 3 games, it was just holy bleep.
Yeah.
Look at this. And the last couple of games, it's like, what is going on?
I picked him not at the bottom of the conference, obviously, but I put him really low when we did our previews this year. The number of people that they lost, the weird quarterback situation going in where Matt, what was his name that bailed?
Their quarterback went to Michigan State.
Yeah,
sits on the bench. Yeah.
Well, no, but he went to Michigan State, but then the guy that got beat out hit the portal.
The second string guy. Yeah, I don't know where he went. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he couldn't because everything had already started. He just quit.
Yep.
So that was weird. Like everything about it felt, just felt bad. So I mean, they outperformed what I thought they'd be this year. I don't think didn't think they'd be down for long, but I mean, they moved the ball relatively effectively. I don't know what they're definitely run heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, they got 2 awesome backs.
Yep.
With Gavin Zebarth and Isaiah Smith. Zebarth is that kind of the power guy, even though Smith is a little bit bigger than him. But Smith is fun to watch. And then Bo Belquist is just on a tear this year.
Still a stud.
Yeah,
they got to be on their COVID years, right?
Right. Yeah, they got to be.
I was actually getting the Belquist, and he's got it. He's one of those guys feels like he's on year 10.
Yeah. So Belquist, 48 receptions, 754 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's averaging 15 yards a pop. So
I think we just put 7 on him, and that is your job.
Yeah. Dallas just follow Bo. Yep. Yeah. They still play on the other side of the ball. They still play a 3-4, and they are still undersized on the defensive line. I don't understand how you're playing this a 3-4 defense with 245-pound ends. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So it's just a tough defense for them to play, and I believe that's part of their struggles is because it's the wrong personnel for a 3-4. They have some talented linebackers, though. Malachi McNeil, Josh Navratil. Those are good players. Those guys could play at a lot of different spots. And then in the secondary, they're just inexperienced. They did lose a lot of guys to graduation last year. So it'll be interesting. Again, it's up in the Alerus, so who knows what the heck will happen. But that's kind of my take on it right now.
Mark needs to avenge that first loss that he got on his record and go up and beat them again.
Yeah, beat them again. Yeah. So anything
it's really
else?
Weird because Zebarth, I played with his dad. He's from my hometown, Cambridge, Isani. So I played with his dad on my high school roster. Now, kind of ages me.
Well, I was in school while you were playing, and I should have graduated. So don't feel too old.
Yeah, Chad and I are both older than you. You're the second youngest person on the pod right now. You're good.
All right. Well, Dallas, you're barely older than me.
Third. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Tell me just a little bit. How much do you miss the grass field? Because I really appreciate what we have, but that was really cool. What's that?
I said soy-based field turf.
Yeah,
I really like to say that.
Yeah, soy-based field turf. But I miss the crown. I miss just it just had its own charm.
It did, but let's be real here. We're an ag school that couldn't grow grass.
Yeah,
we never
got overplayed. I think
we never. Okay, as somebody who is I'm in Mankato, which has the same stadium my dad played in here. They have the nicest grass. I mean, you could putt even on the practice fields here. So I don't know what it was. SDSU just could not get that part of agriculture figured out.
I mean, you are in a little different climate there.
What? It's like 30 miles
Straight down,
away.
it's straight down 14.
You get more rain on average. Go look.
What the?
Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I don't want to argue. Okay.
You're slightly south,
Chad's gonna be looking up rainfall data. Historic rainfall data.
Call me out. That's fine. Somebody do the research.
Just let us know. Text us. All right, or tweet it and tag us, because I'm sure our listeners are invested in it now too. So,
Jim's gonna call me out here.
Yeah. Hey, the one thing too that we got to mention is the quarterback. Dallas, you mentioned the cat that quit before the season started.
Yeah.
The guy that actually won the job was Simon Ramfo, small town North Dakota kid. Him and his twin brother are both on this team. Ramfo is small. He's 5'11", 190. But he's elusive. He does have some Tommy Schuster to him in how he navigates the pocket. He gets out and runs. I believe he has almost 300 yards rushing this season. He does throw some interceptions, so there's going to be the opportunity to take the ball away. He's a little sloppy with the ball at times. So it's going to be just fun to see how this goes. I believe the Ramfos, I could be wrong, so I shouldn't even say this, but I believe they walked on at NDSU and then left the NDSU program after 1 year to go to UND. So could be wrong on that. But fun anyways. The right tackle, Seth Anderson, in my opinion, is probably their best offensive lineman. Again, he transferred from NDSU as well. Moorhead kid, big, really physical. So he's someone to watch. Good right tackle. We're going to have to get some pass rush on Ramfro. We'll see how that goes. So
you mentioned, I did see on their website that what number is it? Coons? 73. And Kuntz. He was the Missouri Valley Conference lineman of the week a couple weeks ago. So they got some dudes up front.
Yeah, he's a big boy, 6'4", 320. So good size on their offensive line too. So all right, let's do predictions. So Taylor, how this works is we each pick a guy that's going to win offensive game ball, defensive game ball, and then a score prediction. So we'll do offense first, then defense, then score. So as our guest, you get to pick for Jake. So who is your offensive player of the week prediction?
Offensive player of the week, I'll go Wildy.
Wildy. All right. The wildebeest.
Yep.
All right, Chad, I have you next because you got one right last week.
Because I got one right. Okay.
Yep, you got Tucker Large. So
I'm gonna choose London Ogrotsky, that Lofton. Like I said,
words are
hard
Yep.
today.
All right, good old
Lofton
Ogrotsky.
at the same time. Yeah.
All right, Dallas, who you going?
Mark. He's coming out with a vengeance.
All right. And I am
it's
going
confident.
with Amar. I'm going with Amar again. So, all right. Defensively, I am going to go with my guy, Kobe Herter. So I think he comes down with an interception this week. Dallas, who you got?
I mentioned, it's tempting to pick one of the D linemen that's back. I didn't get a feel, I didn't get a chance to sit and watch them and imagine how healthy they are. If they're full on 100%, having Rip back, having Wilson back. I want to pick Wilson, but I think I mentioned Franzel earlier. I'm going to go with him.
There we go. You and Seth Meyer about at the same time there. So
Sweet.
Franzel. All right. Chad, who are you going on defense?
I want to see my guy, number 5'2", get in the backfield.
All right.
It's going to be a good Jared DePriest game.
Yep. Okay. And Taylor, who you got on defense?
I got to go with Bach.
Bach. There we go. Excellent. And what's your score prediction?
Oh, man. Score prediction is probably going to be 35-17, Jacks.
Solid. Chad?
I don't know, because it makes it tougher because they're up there. I'm gonna say. What did you say? Something else?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
42, 42-21.
Okay, Dallas.
Man, 42. You think? I mean, they have been giving up points this year. I don't think it's that high.
They got beat by the trees.
They did, but I don't know. I don't know if that's trend or mirage yet. I am going.
Well, it's outside of the Alerus, so you got to factor that in.
Yep. Taylor, I don't want to pick the same score. You said 30. What did you have? Do you remember?
35-17.
35-17. 32. 32-13, Jax.
All right, and I wrote down 38-13. So there we go. All right. And we did mention JFPA earlier. JFPA sponsors our predictions segment. So again, support JFPA, the work they're doing, the Matt Anderson clothing that's up above in the comments. Tremendous stuff. The proceeds go to his family again. So I'm glad we figured out the rainfall there. Thank you, Chad, for putting that in the chat. You're the best. Taylor, thank you for joining us and giving your experience with both programs. Hey, way to move that UND helmet off the screen. Good call on that.
Just to be sure where my alliance lands.
Subtle. Perfect. Awesome.
Never in question.
We're going to have to ask you about the bars and the women after this show's over.
I'll give you a
married. Okay, yeah. And so historic. There we go. Just one other thing. If you are looking for a spot to watch the game this week, can't make it to Brookings to Cubbies, check out our website, the Jackrabbit Illustrated Bar Network. I plan to head over to Millbank to the Pump to watch the game, bringing Miles, bringing my brother-in-laws with me. It's a 1:00 game. So again, we're going to get some lunch beforehand and just have kind of a fun time, something different than just watching it at home. So enjoy it.
JI Bar Network. Somebody cornered me at tailgating and said, Dallas has to tell them where the spot is in Mankato. And if there isn't one, needs to figure one out and get them put on the JIPS.
That is fair. There was one place that's done a couple of games, but I don't know that anybody has consistently.
Dallas, go to the Packer Bar. Go to Spinners. Go to the Packer Bar. And say we have a bunch of Wisconsin Jacks on the team. It's the tie-in to the Packers with Tucker Kraft is just, it's there. They got to do it.
You know what? I think I sort of know the new owner there. Well, not new, but fairly recent owner there. All right, maybe we'll think about it. I like to watch at home. I get emotional. I don't. I need my own space.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in.
In North Dakota, there's a pretty girl behind every tree, right? Anyway, sorry.
There are trees up there.
Yeah,
that's the point. Anyway,
all right. Go big.
Explain it.
Go blue.
Go Jags.
Go Jags. Hold on, Taylor.